So we're going to be talking about actually helping you find your purpose. Like, what is the reason you are even here? Your purpose is directly connected to your promise. Your purpose is directly connected to your promise. And before we even go any deeper into any of that, I want to show you some of the origin, some of the etymology of the word promise, because I believe by the end of this, you're going to be able to make a better promise. You're going to be able to make a clearer promise. You're going to be able to make a promise that feels connected to what you know to be true. And when you make that promise, it not only is going to feel good and connect you with people in a different way around you, it's going to give you better results for yourself and for others. So the promise you make is connected deeply to the purpose you were given. So let's even look at the word promise. A promise is a solemn pledge, a vow, a declaration in reference to the future made by one person to another. That doesn't sound different from what we probably know a promise to be, but I want to go even deeper, because when you look at it, it's broken into, or it comes from two different words. The first one is pro, and pro means before. The second one is mittere, which means to release or let go or throw. It is the word mit. So if you see commit, remit, emit, all of the MIT part of that is mission. So when you see something that says a promise, it is a before mission. It is something you're saying before you actually do it. Again, not like, follow me here. Follow me here. It was the sending abroad originally by the Jesuits. It was a Latin form of mission, act of sending or dispatching, a release, a setting at liberty, a discharge from service, a dismissal. It was basically a solemn commitment. It was a solemn moment where you were saying, this is why you're here. So it was actually something that the promise was given to others, like, I'm sending you here. But it was also became, now as we know it, is something where we've said, I'm sending myself there. So your promise is actually the reason you were made. Because if you look at it and we go into the whole idea of like, are you here for a reason? Are you here for a before mission? According to Scripture, it says that we have been made new in Christ, and given that, it says, prepared for good works, which he made. We were made for good works, which he prepared for us beforehand, that we should walk in them. Now, if you're a believer in that, like I am, that it makes it a whole lot easier for you to find something called life mission or work mission. And if you don't, it's just going to be really, really hard for you to keep going when things suck. It's going to be really hard for you to keep going when you're getting taunted, when things don't seem like they're going your way. So I love the promise that JFK made, right? In the 60s, he says, we will put a man on the moon and we will do it in this decade. That promise not only gave purpose to him, it gave purpose to a nation. It gave purpose to a whole cloud of people working on different parts of the different machinery that was going to put people on the moon. It was a commitment. It was a commission, but it was a promise. Promise gives purpose. Promise gives purpose. It's the reason you're here. You're the keeping of a promise. And we're going to be looking at three moves that you can have that is going to put you into a place where you're making promises that matter. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you, by the way, is that if anytime I ever work with anyone to create results in one-on-one coaching, it usually goes one of two ways. It's either going to be someone who is creating incremental behavior that they're doing over and over and over again, and the hope is that ultimately this pays off, or it has to do with someone making a transformation. Of the two, they both are great, and it's either is better than neither. But of the two, the one that actually offers the opportunity to have 100 times the return on investment is a transformation. It's becoming new. It's doing something new. And there's only two things that I've ever found that cause transformation. Transformation doesn't mean you add a little bit, you take a little bit. Transformation means you become something new. And the two things that actually can cause transformative power in us is extreme hatred, anger, fear, or love. Now, the extreme anger and fear is great. It can actually get someone out of a place from one place into another, but it's not sustainable. And a lot of people have changed their lives, their financial lives, their health lives, and their relationship lives because they do something extreme out of fear, and they make the change, and they don't learn how to progress in what they're doing. And so what happens is they have to keep creating negative situations so that they're going to continue to make promises to themselves that they have to keep. So they raise the stakes to be life or death. But the other way, and I think the more effective way for us to make good promises and to have transformation, is through love. And I think a promise actually covers exactly that. So it is you showing up for another person, and it's you showing up for yourself. As a matter of fact, one of the first and foremost promises that we find in all of human history is the rainbow, which was a promise that the earth wouldn't be flooded again. It was made from God to man. And it's like, hey, here's what's going to happen in here, or here's what's not going to happen ever again. And how does this apply to you? Well, I will tell you this. If you get good at making the right promises, you're going to create extreme value. Now, before we even go into that, I will tell you, a lot of you have made promises to people because you had to, because there was an expectation. So it wasn't because you loved or because you loved them or you loved yourself. It wasn't because of that. It was because you were afraid, and because you were afraid, you made a promise. And when you make a promise and you make a bunch of those, it actually stops you from making and committing to promises that you want to make. So if you find, as I'm going through any of this stuff, that it's difficult to you, you might need to unpromise, to undo yourself, or renegotiate past promises so that you can step into this one with vim, vigor, and vitality. Because at the end of this, what I'm sharing with you right now, it's going to seem like, oh my gosh, this is like, you're talking to me about my life purpose. This seems like something so weighty. I want it to feel weightless. It should feel effortless. Now, I am here as a guide, as a question asker. And a lot of what I ask you right now is going to start you thinking in a direction. You may not come up with the end of your answer by the end of the session, but you're going to get the good questions. If you will spend time here, we'll give you something that you can enrich your life, and not only your life, you can actually fulfill your mission on the planet. You can do what you were made for. All right, so the first thing that we're going to look at is your purpose statement. Do you have a purpose statement? Well, what's a purpose statement? A purpose statement is when you know why you're here. It's your overall mission in life, all right? And if you want to see what that looks like, it looks like this. I'm going to give you the templates for all of these things. So that's pretty cool. Your purpose statement. I am here to help blank, to do blank by blank. Or you can go as simple or as intricate as you want. But I'm here to help Actually, here, my real reason, the reason I'm here on this planet, me, not you, but me, I'm here to help people find their purpose and to joyfully, effortlessly walk after their purpose. That's why I'm here. And that's why, like, when you can have that, it's interesting that that begets other things that you do. You'll do things like a video classroom, or you'll do things like write a book, because all of those things flow from that statement. Why are you here? If you don't know why you're here, you are going to bounce around looking at other people for answers, and you're going to suffer, I think, the loss of that personal, not just discrimination in terms of what to do and what not to do, but you're going to have a deteriorated confidence. And if you're a person on here with a business of any type, no confidence means no cash. You need that. But confidence doesn't come from cash. Confidence doesn't come from your success. Success comes from you being on purpose. And so the easiest way for you to look at this is, I would say, like, what gift do you have? Do you teach? Do you listen? Do you help? Do you fight for? Do you defend? Do you lead? Do you invent? What is it that you are most naturally, that gift? And how can that be used for people? Because when you take what you have and you give it away, it gives you purpose. Years ago, I was blessed with just this this burning belief that God put us here for a purpose, and it never ever went away. It just continued to show up in different areas. And one thing I will tell you is that when you have your mission, so we're going to talk about mission next, but when you have it, it never goes away. It changes, it alters, but you can never keep it down for very long. All right. The next thing I want you to do, or I would say, if you are someone who is committed to having better promises, this one right here is really the one you're making to the world, and it doesn't matter where you work at. Okay. As a matter of fact, well, let's go into the next one. The next one is going to be your noble cause. Now, a noble cause is something that will allow you to continue on any path longer than you would for just yourself. A noble cause involves the princess or the prince or the family or the people that you're here to save. Who are you on a mission to help? When you have a noble cause, it gives you a different strength level to what it is that you do. It gives you a depth that others just can't have. You ever been at a party or a chamber get together or some business thing, and someone will talk and they'll talk and they'll talk. They'll talk about themselves and they'll go, go, go. But you can tell, like, if you ask them a question, they're like not deep. As a matter of fact, usually the people who are talking and sharing and only sharing about themselves, they are they are not curious people. They're showy people, and usually it's because they feel insignificant. So they have to tell you all of the things they've done. That's not the noble cause. If you find yourself doing that a lot, you probably need to reconnect with what we're about to do right here, because what that's a symptom of is it's a symptom of you feeling like you're not enough. And so you're spinning these stories or doing these great things so that you can be enough. Now, side note, a hero's origin story can start with them not feeling like they're enough, and then those things drive them into action. So, like, it's not uncommon for people of purpose to go through periods where they don't feel like they're enough. And by the way, that's worthiness has been something I have personally gone through in different seasons of life. And so if that's what's happening with you, this might be one of your ways out. Are you ready? It's your noble cause. It's when you find your people, your mission, and your message. Who are your people? Your people are the ones that you're here to serve. If you're here to help the homeless, help the homeless. If you're here to free the slaves in Pakistan, free the slaves in Pakistan. If your people are single mothers or single dads, go help those people. If your people are children, Be a blessing to children. If your people are the leaders of this country, go find those people. If your people are rich people, go find rich people. There's no such thing as a wrong people. We're all here for a people. Who are the ones that you are most equipped to help and the ones that you most want to help? Those are your people. Now, if you are a professional already, great. You probably have a people that's been assigned to you, but do you love them? Do you really, really, are you infatuated with helping them? Do you really want to see them in a better place? And if you do, all of these things, the big questions I'm asking, it informs all of the things that flow from that. There are 1,000 questions you will ask yourself. There are 1,000 ways you'll be curious when you're in love, when you're guarding yourself, when you are lacking confidence. Curiosity is far away from you. So, are you curious? That's one indicator of your people. But the ones you love, it's effortless. Don't like this isn't about the ones you think you should love. It's about a lot of these things are built into your natural, just like it flows easily. Like, why do parents help helpless babies? I don't know. Why did God make puppies and kittens cute and baby animals cute? I don't know. Why like there are these things that they just are. Okay, so if you think that you have to go and be something to people that you always couldn't stand, maybe, but probably not. So people, what's the mission? A mission is what you want to bring them from or to. I want to bring you into the place of abundance, or I want to bring you out of the place of confusion. I want to bring you into the place of clarity. What is that place that you want to bring people from or to? That's your mission. And then finally is your message. If you know the message, if you know what you're gonna, you wish that these people could have downloaded, you would share that. And so an example of this is that for me, and again, I'm not talking School of Professional Design. My people are purpose-driven, generous, and floundering professionals, or people just needing a shift. My preference right now is leaders, but like this is expanding for me. What is my mission? My mission is to take them from aimless to purpose and to give their purpose a process. That's my mission. What's my message? You're here for a purpose. Your gift and your people and fearless, generous action are going to create the success that you desire. That's mine. And as you look at what your noble cause could be, these are the people in need of a rescue. This is a group of people you are called to. And if you think it's everyone, it's not everyone. It's a specific group of people. There are things, by the way, that we do for everyone. So I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that your best results come when you have a little bit of a focus. Okay. Now, the interesting thing about this is I haven't even talked to you about what you do, what you sell, what your business is, what you go to class for, any of those things. And that's because when you know your purpose statement in your noble cause, when you have these go with you everywhere. And it does determine, or it can determine what you do, but really more, it determines what you're flavored like a jar of pickles, right? A jar of pickles is flavored like the chemicals and the dill that surrounds them. These cucumbers did not taste like that before they were put into the pickle juice. And what I would say is that the way that you operate, where you're at, it is meant to be flavored specifically by you and in your way. So what is your flavoring? Is it joy? Is it peace? Is it power? What is your flavor? And that needs to be a part of your promise, because we don't just have a promise to people, we have a promise to self. And sometimes the saddest people I find are people who are living in a place of being a servant. And when you're living only as a servant, you're a slave that doesn't feel like you get any of this stuff for yourself. And then what happens is that you Never make any promises to yourself. You only make them to other people. But the promise you need to make to yourself is, what kind of human being do you want to be? A few years ago, I decided that I would be the most joyful man I know. And it took a year for me to get to a place where I could say that. And now upon further evaluation, I don't know that I can still say that. Maybe I need to reintegrate that with myself, or maybe I need to go find something new. But I will tell you this, for me, fun is a part of my deal. And if I can't have fun doing something, I'm just not going to do it for very long. I'm just not. As a matter of fact, here's the truth. If you are always breaking promises to yourself to keep them for other people, you are going to, your energy is going to, like, it's going to be sucked out of you. And what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself breaking promises to them because you never made any to you. And that's also a place where it's just a place of loss. I work with a lot of salespeople and a lot of people who recruit. And I always say this, your number one sales tool, your number one recruiting tool is a promise kept. So if you end up breaking those promises, it actually erodes your confidence faster than anything in the world. And boy, that is, you lose influence, you lose credibility. Final thing I want to show you, and this can be cool. This is called the best ever, right? This is the title. What can you be the best ever at? It might be too late, or you may not have the skill set or the training or all of the things that would make you the best ever golfer or athlete at this or that. You may not even be the best ever at your profession. I don't know how you would judge the best ever, let's just say, loan officer. Are you going to go by amount of loans the person wrote? Are you going to go by the amount of people they helped? I don't know. But instead of best being measured by numbers, I would say best is something that you get to self-assign. We are self-assigners here. And perhaps it involves being the most joyful, the most trusted, the most liked, the most helpful, the most whatever, and then your profession goes at the end. So maybe it is the most caring loan officer, the most joy-filled coach. These are examples of this, but one of the things that I had on my wall for a while, and it's being altered a little bit, is that I will become the world's foremost expert at professional purpose. And it's like, that's still a journey. There's no way I'm there. I've read so many books. I've done lots of things like this. I've helped lots of people, and yet I still feel like a neophyte. I'm at the beginning of that journey. What is it that you have the opportunity to become the best at, or world class at, or at least the best in your area, or the best in the state? I remember this year. I remember when we won the this is the national championship 2010 Civil Air Patrol color guard competition. My son and my daughter were on this team, and none of us had ever done any of the things that were being asked to do. And one of the neatest things was when they got back, and we'd conquered this and a bunch of trophies in the process, and we're the best in the nation. It was the realization. My son, he was always I forget, left guard, right guard, for whichever one. He was the one that always, so he didn't have the guns, but he was one of the flag guys. I don't even know the names. And he was the guy that was responsible for folding the flag. And for the whole next year, he's like, wait, I might be like the best person in the country, like in our age, in our brat. I'm one of the best people in the whole country at flag folding. How cool is that? So what can you become the best at? Can you become the best experience maker? Can you become the best creator? Can you become the best? And it's like, it's interesting because you got to get a little bit specific when you go into that. But I want you to wonder, because you were made for something. You do have something that's completely unique. You have your own version of the pickle juice. You do have something that the rest of us absolutely need. And if you're playing to be mediocre, you're not here for your purpose. You're not here for your promise. You're not here for your mission. When you flow in that, it makes you feel alive. Makes you feel alive. There are moments whenever in my coaching business, I get off the phone and I'm like, this is why I'm made. I'm freaking genius. No one else could have done what I just did. And listen, I know it's me in partnership with God. I know that, but it feels great when you're connected to what you were divinely made to do. If you're someone that doesn't know maybe what that is for you, I would actually ask you to look backwards a little bit. Now, this is the final place we'll go to. I don't do this enough, but this is, there was something that I'd promised that we would do, and it was almost a 40-day trip down up from here and down the coast, and I was supposed to take it with my dad. But anyway, you'll see that this says, I think it says something here. There you go. 22, 20, promise fulfilled. A promise fulfilled. Some of you need reminders around you about the promises that you've kept. Because when you know that you did something you said you would do, it will help you to believe yourself when you make the next promise. Because the truth is that most of us, when we come up with this promise, whenever I give you what I just gave you, it sounds audacious. It sounds too good to be true. It sounds too difficult, but it's not. You are made for it. And the reason, though, that it sounds that way is because we know so many times we've made and broken those promises. We've said before, this is my mission. This is my mission. And then we broke the mission. We didn't allow it to be sacred. And the truth is, maybe you just weren't a very good promise maker. Maybe you made promises toward things that you felt like you had to. Maybe you made too many promises. Maybe you didn't realize that if you make this promise, you can't make this promise. You can't make the same promise, promise to meet this two different people at the same time in the day. You can't do that unless you're all together. But it's like, right, there's certain things that are actually exclusive. So maybe because you've decided you wanted to please people, and that was a promise you wanted to keep, you're pleasing people overrode, it superseded some of the promises that you really wanted to keep. So there are some of these that are based in our values. It's based in it's just based on a lot of stuff. Some of us, we don't make promises because what has happened is once we make them, it's almost like the accusers inside. We talked last week a little bit about dragons, giants, and demons. And the truth is that when you say something, the giants that are in front of you are going to stand against you, say, no, you can't do that, right? The demons inside, they're going to whisper to you, yeah, right. You're not that. You can't do what you just said. The dragons you have to face is it's the truth that you're afraid of what, maybe you can't. There are these spirits. There's all of these things surrounding that. And I'm going to give you a story. We'll frame it in a story. And I hope that maybe it helps. It was 1932. The New York Yankees were playing against the Chicago Cubs. And there was a group of people that were making fun of the Babe. It was the Chicago bench. You're nothing. You're a loser. You're washed up. Come on, fatty. You're going to strike out. And what Babe Ruth did, famously, was he pointed his bat at right center field, signifying, this is where I'm going to hit the ball. The very next pitch, crack, it goes over that spot. Maybe you need to call your shot. Maybe you need to make your JFK moonshot. Maybe you need to make peace with people and create, and have your rainbow. But your purpose is found in your promise. Find the promise that you can joyfully, happily, excitedly, effortlessly keep. You will have found, at least for now, your purpose.